Your success in life or your failure in life can be explained by the graph I'm about to show you. You need to get an understanding of what the causes and consequences of your lives are. Now, this is not a shiny, get-rich-quick video or anything that can satisfy your monkey brain for a quick dopamine fix. All right, you need to focus here because it really will change your life for the better. It changed mine so much when I looked at it all these years ago. It still applies today. As a matter of fact, if you're wondering why you should listen to me right now, well, my name's Eddie. I'm a head of sales for a big corporation. I run 2 different offices. I've sold well over $100 million in sales. I have clients the likes of Cartier, Maserati, Porsche, and I have trained many different individuals to become successful salespeople without prior sales experience. So definitely what I have to sell, what I have to tell you does and will help you, all right? So let's get into this video. And it, again, I emphasize, it's not a shiny new thing, all right? You need to focus. So point number 1, you need to understand, all right, your current situation right now, all right, what's going on in your life right now is the consequence of your past actions, maybe 6 months ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. I don't know how old you are, but definitely it is the causes, all your consequences to it are caused by all your actions in the past. Now, one of the things you need to understand is that memory is fallible, right? Memory is kind of like a stored unit that every time you refer to, you damage it. A memory is altered every time you look at it. It's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. If you don't believe me, look at some childhood memories, confront your siblings or your parents and ask them about the memory. They might have a different variance of it, although you live the same scene. Why is that, I hear you ask? Well, it's because memories are altered. Now, your memory fades over time. It is as fresh as it gets within a very short limit of time. And the more time goes on, the more you start forgetting about it. There is a graph, if you're interested, it's called Ebbinghaus memory graph. It basically tells you that your memory is at liveliest not even an hour after the event. Literally 6 days later, you've only got 5% of the memory left, only some bribes of it. Now, apply this to your prospects, by the way, whenever you pitch. Basically, your memory fades with time, and the actions that you have created out of those memories, so it could be habits or bad habits or things you've done or not done out of those memories, will start increasing over time. So you might have forgotten why you're smoking, 10 cigarettes a day, why you started, drinking more often than before, or why you're not reading anymore, why you're not cold calling, or why you're not doing things methodically. These are the results of past actions that you can't necessarily remember what happened. If you can't remember why, then how the hell are you supposed to figure out your whys and hows, all right? Now, again, I will refer to the graph here. This is going to be your time, and this is basically the effects of your memories and the effects of what you do. I purposefully put money in there because effectively the habits you put with what I put in place will over time deliver results. You have to remember that your focus as a human being has been under attack for the past 100 years. And I literally mean under attack. 100 years ago, an average human being could focus about 20 minutes without much problems. Today, we're sitting, according to the studies that are being done, to between 7 to 12 seconds. Seconds. Does that sound a lot like one of those short videos or TikToks that you're referring to or you're looking all the time? Yes, it is. It's because it's conditioned us to have a low attention span. Now, because you don't have a very good memory, because you have a low attention span, what is expected of you? You're not going to have a long-term identity. You're just living, not to quote Vin Diesel here, but almost a block of times of a couple of days or a couple of weeks at a time. How can you build something long if your entire life is operating on short term? And that leads me to point number 2. You have to understand the causes of gratification. Right now, today, we live in a world where instant gratification is king. It's the norm, right? If you don't believe me, if you're still here, you're watching this video, look on the right of the screen. Every single title there is there as clickbaity. It's there to attract your attention. The notifications of the apps are there to generate some stimuli or some reactions from you. There's one-click food, there's one-click adult entertainment. Basically, everything is available to your heart's content nearly at a couple of seconds away from you right now. And yet, if I look at the effects, if we look at yourself, do a little bit of introspection here. Everything's one click available, yet your anxiety levels are through the roof. It's not My findings is what we constantly read in professional press. This is what we read in blogs. Or if you go on social media, everyone's complaining that they're stressed, that they're anxious, that they've turned into impatient human beings, that they're entitled. What do you expect? Everything is given to you in an instant gratification manner. I'm not saying that the technology is not amazing. I mean, we are living in the best times when it comes to what we have to our fingertips. But we're overusing it, and it's been over-leveraged on us so much that we're just focusing, we're just getting instant gratification, always and forever. We have no long-term plans, we have no long-term goals, we have no identity, we just live, by those very short amount of time. One of the famous, French philosophers and writers, Albert Camus, said, "It is not the desire itself that we're trying to fulfill, it's that feeling of desire itself that we're seeking. We want to feel like we're desiring. And because we're taking away that desire by fulfilling it in a couple of seconds, we're feeling more and more unhappy. In your everyday life, in your work environment, everything is made for you to not focus on what you want to become, which is financially successful, all right? You need to seek what is identity building. What is it that you want? What is it that you want from the future? Is it that you want to become the leader in your firm? Is it that you want to become an industry leader? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to, don't put money is not an end goal. Money is a mean. What is it that you want? Start a family, row around the freaking oceans. I don't know, but what is it? It has to be something that is far, far ahead, is complex and requires a lot of your resources. If you don't have anything to build your identity on, you're not going to find any fulfillment in life. Again, because you're seeking short-term pleasures, all right? Short-term pleasures, I'm not saying are always bad. I'm just saying we've got too much of it. We're overdosing on it, and I can speak out of experience here, all right? You have to learn one thing. You have to improve every day of your life. That's, ultimately causes and consequences of what this video was all about, is whatever you're learning to deliver long-term results, it has to be continuous, so you stop forgetting, all right? So you might think, Ed, what can I actually do? What's an action plan? You talk big, but what can I actually do? Here's an idea. Based on my observations and data, right now, on average, us human beings spend 2 hours a day watching mindlessly social media. 2 hours. That's 8% of your day. Imagine you do that. You take those 2 hours and you allocate it towards honing a craft, learning about an industry, learning about a skill, learning anything. Just learning for 45 days. I give you a 45-day challenge. You'll have 100 hours of expertise after 45 days. You'll be 80% more knowledgeable than everybody in that trade. You'll effectively be better than most people. Does that sound like it's undoable? 45 days? Really? Is that too much to ask you? By doing this, you will already be on the way to build a habit. I don't want to go into habit building in this video, but on average, based on empirical data, I think UCLA did a study, it takes 66 days to do some basic habit building. 66 days. Certainly not this get-rich BS that I see everywhere on YouTube where $300 today, $100 tomorrow with AI, or do this and you'll become successful, or you'll get ripped, or you'll lose the weight, whatever. The internet is lying to you. Look at the data. Look, observe what you're seeing. Most of the successes you see will take time, consistency, and effort. Stop believing what people tell you and start observing things. That's one of the things I'm trying to get across here. There is no get rich quick. There is no get ripped quick. There is no success overnight. Look at everyone. Caesar, took him 40 years to get somewhere. Elon Musk, he was nobody until 15 years ago. You only started hearing when he started becoming successful, although the guy's been grinding since the 90s. Same for Bezos. Same for anyone that is historically significant. As a matter of fact, I want to add to this point, there is a very strong misrepresentation about success and age. You go on social media and there's countless amounts of, I'm going to say, teenagers that pretend that they're 9 figures or 8 figures or 7 figures or 6 figures rich in a couple of weeks. There's no proof of that. As a matter of fact, it's very easy. I could rent a supercar, get some models, rent a freaking villa. As a matter of fact, if you don't believe me, there's an entire YouTube channel dedicated by this gentleman called CoffeeZilla, who literally unmasks the amount of people that are lying through their teeth on the internet. My point being is results take time. If you want to get fit, and right now I am in this mode, I've started 36 days ago to get back at the gym after years of neglect. I can see the change, but I'm only 35 days in. I might see visual change, meaning in a couple of months, maybe more than that, maybe more than a year. It takes time. I can't fake this, but you can look back to my first video 5 weeks ago and look at the difference. You'll see that is commitment, and that's what I'm asking of you, all right? If you're having any doubts of the benefits of time, consistency, and cumulative effect, I will turn and give you arguably the best thing that you can do with your life. It's not financial advice, because I cannot tell you what to buy, what to do, because this is viewed by the whole internet. But if we took $22,000 off your account when you were 20 years old, let's say hypothetically, 40 years ago, all right? And we had put it on a diversified like index. No, I don't want to give any examples because, again, it's not financial advice. And it was following the average return of the stock market, which I think 7% at the moment. All right, $22,000, 7% annual returns. And every month you put $125 into this. $125. That's $4 a day. That's your freaking latte, all right? And every year, because you get a pay raise or you get something, you put a 5% more than that $125 or $1,500 a year. When you'll be 60, you'll have a crisp $1 million into your account. No magic that. This is compounded interest for you. So if you can imagine this, I know it takes a long time, but who at 60 years old will have $1 million who didn't do this? Statistically, 85% of you, based on income Bureau of Statistics in the US, will not be in this income bracket. Just by doing this, you would. You would. That's just to make a point, all right? Now, you need to seek knowledge. In your corporate field, in your personal life, knowledge, there's so much on the internet today. I literally bumped into the channel of some Stanford, a teacher, and he has a couple hundred views. And the content he gives is grade A. However, whatever rip dude that tells me that he's going to give me a 6-figure income, millions of views, millions. Why would I trust some rip dude with no with no proof and no backing what he says over some Stanford guy who actually researches, actually has empirical data? This is when you know something's wrong with us as human beings, all right? And this leads me to one very critical aspect, which is called, I like to call drift, because the scientific name is very complicated, but I'll attempt to read it out to you. It is called the law of sensitive dependency on initial conditions, or drift. If one of you guys is sailing, you'll understand what I mean. Or if you're in a space program, even better. I'll give you an example. If we both start at the same point with a compass and you made a 0.1 degree mistake over a long period of time, the sizable difference of where we'll head will be massive. Massive. Let me give you a little bit of an expression for this. If we did that with a rocket that goes to the moon, that 0.1 degree mistake, you'd be off the moon by 4,000 miles. 4,000 miles. So when I'm telling you do this again and again and again for the rest of your life, what's likely is if you don't change anything, there'll be no difference. But if you make one small difference, by reading, by researching, by finding something new every day in your trade, over time, the difference will be massive. And if you compound them by making more differences every day, what is going to happen? You're going to become so much more successful than everybody else. Everybody works for a salary. We're paycheck human beings. If you stop becoming a paycheck human being and you start becoming a self-improving human being, you'll be ahead of the pack in no time. And that is the cause you're doing today. That will be the consequence of your future, a very good consequence. But remember, you need to be mindful of what you change. If your goal is to become a very successful salesperson or a very successful entrepreneur, and suddenly the new shiny thing on the internet is, I hear it all the time, drop shipping, SMMA, what is it, that other fad, crypto, NFTs, day trading, it's so not original. Whatever it is, do it consistently over a long period of time. All right, stop trying to get the new thing. Oh, AI is the new one. Everything's AI now. Sell me this pen. It's AI powered. My point being is, you need to be consistent and you have to have a long vision in time. My bad. So if you're trying to make changes today, and I don't know, you're a salesperson and tomorrow you want to become a fitness guru, or you want to become like someone who works in music industry, if you constantly make those changes, you're going to have oscillations. all right? Oscillations are natural in life. You have good days, you have bad days. Nonetheless, if you constantly change direction, your drift is going to be ginormous. You might say, I don't exactly know where I'm going. I'm not exactly sure of what my life is all about. That's perfectly normal. If you think all the great people in the world had this, same idea of where they wanted to be at the end, they had no idea. You think Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook knowing it was going to be taking over the world? Or if Caesar knew he was going to become like the first citizen of the Roman Republic? No. They had a vision that they wanted to go somewhere, and then they built upon it. Facebook was a Harvard connection network. I'm being controversial here. Then it became like an American university network. Then it became higher education only in the US. Then it went global. And then it went to everybody. And it is the behemoth we know today. Same with McDonald's. He started with a couple of restaurants. Then it went to a bigger empire. They don't have it sorted in. They want, don't put so much pressure on yourself. However, you need to have an idea where you want to go. Keep it in your mind. Influence plus time and cumulative action will be a win. All right? If you can look at your life and look at ways to improve daily, you will have a fulfilling life. Everything today has to be explained with medication or with radical changes. Sometimes minor changes make a big difference. And I'll give you a very personal personal story here. A few years ago, as a matter of fact, 10 years ago, I was in a very bad spot. I was probably the fattest I've ever been. I was having very bad life hygiene. I was quite large. I was not sleeping properly. And I was in a business venture that didn't pay off very well, as much as I imagined, because I made the cardinal mistake of going solo on it. And I went to see a professional, and they immediately told me, you need to take medication. And I was like, I don't want to be that guy. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just in a bad professional space. What can I do? And then I was like, I just need to figure something else and just be a bit more balanced in my life. So suddenly, I stopped going to bed at insane hours because I said it's not good. My circadian rhythm was basically shot to pieces, so I just made the consistent effort of going to bed same time and waking up same time. And within a very short amount of time, my spirit, my mindset was a lot more positive. And guess what? I was like, you know what? I don't need to order like this Domino's pizza with cheesy crust and all that crap. I cut it out completely. And then I cut out soft drinks. And then I was like, you know what? I could do some sports. I used to be sporty and now I'm not. I was in my mid-20s and I started going to sports. And then it created this virtuous circle. And after time, I was like, maybe this business is not for me. It's not working because the margins are paper thin. I need to scale up, and it's not something I'm passionate about at all. So I don't blame the business for failing. I blame myself for going into a business that I didn't like. And a couple of weeks later, I had changed into a different career path, which is what I'm in today. And yeah, simple changes make big differences. And today, again, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm vested. I have a horse in this race. Life will be more fulfilling for you guys. So just a quick recap. Understand that where you are today is the consequence of what you did in the past. So if you're in a bad spot today, I'm not saying blame your past self for this, but look at what you did in the past that led you there. All right? And remember that whatever you're changing here will be effective in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, in a couple of years in some cases. That's how it functions. This way, when you're trying something and you're certain, your monkey brain is not going to say, ooh, let's try something new. Stay consistent. If it works for others and it's proven, trust the data. Don't fall for the fad. Don't fall for the shiny new thing. All right? Let me know in the comments below if there's anything like this you've experienced, or if you have examples or questions, because I'm very passionate about this. And I'll see you next week for the next video. Peace.